Both players smiling. That's been the whole consensus here of Pro Play Tour in Fort Worth. Almost every Duelist stream has been happy, whether win or lose, and we will see. And it is Alex starting exactly what he wants to do with this deck.
Now, we've talked about one of the best things about Pendulum or just Endymion builds in general is the fact that, they can actually play through hand traps fairly well.
Yeah, Ogre is probably its biggest bane, but other than that, you play a Droll, they'll find a way to keep going. You play a Veiler, they'll find a way to keep going. You Veiler the Electromite, I have 2 slots to special summon to.
Now, you did mention Ogre, though. Cam is actually main decking 3 whole copies of Ghost Ogre, so not even siding them, just in the main deck. So
that's a shared ride in his hand. He sure wishes that he was going
first.
Oh,
I bet.
One.
Yeah, 2 copies of shared ride as well. Wow. So we got Pendulum Call coming down here for Alex. Doesn't look like there's any hand traps on Cam's side here.
Shared ride is something we've seen multiple times through this tournament, too.
Yeah, well, I think we were discussing earlier, or yesterday specifically, that with shared ride, when the top decks are, Salamangreat and Sky Striker, they both do a lot of searching and adding to cards from deck to hand. So, shared ride kind of acts like that pseudo max C dynamic where your opponent doesn't want to add cards if you're going to give cards to your opponent. So I think it was an interesting meta call for this event to be main decking it, because I think we've seen a lot of people putting it in the side
So
deck.
we see the Magician that allows them to turn cards into dragons.
And it looks like a purple poison underneath that.
So yeah, the Guard Dragon engine actually has a Magician that helps directly support it. I think that was made more for maybe Zark, but hey.
Hey. The normal summon of purple poison is going to allow for Electromite. And Cam is going to allow that to go through. So we are off to the races. He's going to send a Morphage Lechery.
And Cam going to read Lechery for a bit. It's going to turn off his spells. So It seems like he does like it for this matchup.
Yeah, and again, it would turn off those shared rides in his hand. It could potentially turn off Salamangreat Circle, Salamangreat Sanctuary. Not too many spells that Endymion plays. Or excuse me, Salamangreat. Salamangreat plays too many decks. Salamangreat doesn't play that many decks or spells in their deck.
So it looks like he used the Electromite effect there, I believe.
Now he's going to go ahead and play the Lechery in his zone, as well as the other Magician that directly supports the dragons, as we said. And it looks like he has his zone set up for a Pendulum Summon here, so this could be a Pendulum Summon for 2 at the minimum.
And it looks like he is doing just that from the extra deck, and then we'll see what he's considering from hand.
So Purple Poison, Time Gazer, and a Black Fang out of the hand. So he's going to use the effect of the Magician and turn it into a dragon, I believe?
And that is where
LP comes down. Yes.
It's just not, okay, anything can go into the Guard Dragon engine, just for my scale.
I know, the Guard Dragon, just the fact that people are finding so many ways to incorporate this engine into their deck is just incredible to me. I love it.
But Alex incorporates it more than any other of the Pendulum decks we've seen.
I would say
here.
that, yeah. So now we see the Triple Burst Dragon come down, which is nice because Triple Burst is generic. So it's very easy to go into it for a Link 3, and because you already have Electromite as well, that's an easy Link 2 for you.
And Cam with no interruption so far, but we see Goliath already.
So now Goliath is on the field denying summoning from the extra deck. The Lechery is preventing spells from being activated. And Alex also with a set card on the field as well. So Cam is going to have his work cut out for him here. I believe he has 3 spell cards in his hand, which those are all turned off. And a Jack Jaguar as well. We're going to have to see how Cam can play through this.
So
Lady Debug,
is the other card.
That's a pretty good card to have.
Yeah, but with the extra deck shut off, how far is it going to get him?
So he's going to go ahead and grab the Gazelle.
Realistically, are you just trying to pile bodies on board and live?
There's a chance, but he's already got Alex already has his scale set up, so he can probably be going for a big attack next turn. So Debug's going to attack the LP, so that's going to be 700 damage. And Cam is just going to set 2 cards face down and pass.
Now, I believe he has a cost for his Pendulum Scale, if I'm not mistaken.
For the one on the
Lechery.
left? Oh, for Lechery.
I think. I don't know if controlling Goliath turns that off.
Alex really considering what's going on here. Obviously, he knows that he's just locked Cam out of so many different plays. So he's really look at that face.
Yeah, he
really thinking through his moves there.
Well, the two back row typically from Salamangreats aren't going to be locked out by your lechery.
Sure. But you have to think those cards specifically require Salamangreat cards to be effective. I guess Rage
True.
technically doesn't because Rage can discard a Salamangreat card.
Oh, and
Luster Pendulum. Okay.
So he did have to tribute the purple poison for the lechery.
So Luster's going to attack. Is Luster 1850 attack?
Yes.
I believe. Okay, so that's going to be 150. And then 2750 from the Goliath. And his triple burst, I believe, 2200?
I want to say 22 or 23.
Okay. And so players just tallying up the damage here.
2400.
For a triple burst?
Yes.
Oh, okay, so an extra 2 then.
A little bigger.
A little bigger than I thought, yeah. I'd say that's pretty standard for a Link 3 monster, 24. And looks like Alex just passed it back.
Yeah, he's content with the beatdown phases. Nothing really seems to be happening.
Well,
to him
yeah,
at
I
this
mean,
point.
we just saw all Cameron did was really just play Lady Debug and pass. And
there
Cam's
is
just
the
going to scoop it up,
phase.
yeah.
Wow.
Now, this puts Alex in a really good position because even if he does lose this game 2, he is going to be able to essentially assemble the same board game 3. And it was unfortunate that Cam was not able to get any of his hand traps to prevent the board that Alex did assemble that turn. So Cameron presumably going first. Looks like I think I saw an
Salamangreat Circle.
I think I saw an effect veiler.
And debug.
Debug,
Oh, it is
alright.
looking nice.
One
for
card
Cameron
combo.
here.
So this should be a bare minimum full setup from Cam.
Most of the side options we assume for Alex would seem that they're for when he's playing second.
Yes.
So I don't think we'll see too many interruptions during this turn.
I mean, he does side deck one Impermanence as well.
The
The
singular.
lone copy of Impermanence, so maybe he puts
That's
that
all he
in.
needs.
I mean, Watchy has it. So Lady Debug going into Baylynx. I love that it just has the interaction that Baylynx just requires a level 4 lower Cyber, so Lady Debug works. Gets the Gazelle. And we're going to get to see that.
Both players smiling. I love duels like these.
Yeah. They're both just interacting, having a good time. And honestly, we've seen that all weekend.
It's been
I would
nice.
say, yeah. So Cameron Neal just going through the motions here. This is, if you've been sticking around the stream all weekend, you pretty much know how this Salamangreat combo goes.
I believe it's all Texas duelists left for the top 4, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so pretty much the community is pretty tight-knit, even though we're far apart in some places like San Antonio, Austin, like Alex down from Austin, Cam up here from the DFW. The players are still pretty tight-knit and know each other because we end up going to all the regionals.
So we see Sanctuary, going to Reincarnation Link summon the Sunlight Wolf.
Opens up another zone for him.
Going to add back Gazelle. That is, add back Rage, excuse me. I like how Cam's adapting his style to get Rage. He could have Roar in his hand, to be fair. But Rage essentially acting as a in-archetype Twin Twister for Pendulum Scale.
Yeah, it's a really good card.
Right, because with Sunlight Wolf, he's able to pop 2 cards. And again, he could already have the Roar, which is why he didn't want to search for it. But I do like that.
Having that force to try to bait out a red reboot as well instead of using it on your counter trap.
That's true.
Is
Absolutely.
what you want to do.
All right, so Servant of Endymion in this Pendulum Scale.
Cam checking cards.
And Alex, the thing is, Alex is aware.
Ooh, there's the Radiant.
That's big. So wow. So the Kaiju's going to shut off the Rage from popping for 2 at least. He could still use it at a minus and pop 1 card.
Wow.
But that's significant. That also shuts off the counter trap if he does have it. So he actually sided in the copies of Radiant.
Yeah, so Radiant a level 7, I believe, so it's one of the biggest that you can Pendulum summon for yourself. A lot of Pendulum duelists tend to stick with Sticky String because when you give it to your opponent, it's the lowest, but it looks like he's just trying to maximize damage output. And here in 2019, 2,800 attack versus 24, it's not the hardest to get over for a duelist that's summoning Ignister like crazy.
Yeah, so now we see Chronograph Sorcerer destroying itself in the scale to summon Time Gazer Magician. Still hasn't committed to the normal. He just needs one more monster to get to the Electromite. But he does still have to worry about those 2 back row.
He's been trying hard to force them. And there's Duelist Alliance. This deck has quite a few options for this card.
We've got Pendulum Call.
But I think you want to kind of avoid that with a negate unless you're trying to bait it.
Right. We've got Luster Pendulum. Master Pendulum, yeah.
Ooh.
I don't expect, I mean, we could see those, but... If anything, I was going to say, yeah, I would say Luster.
And it is.
That's going to tick Servitum and Endymion up to 2 spell counters. So just one more spell, and it's able to trigger its effect.
Pot of Desires.
Okay.
Oh
We're going to see if this forces any
goodness.
sort of negation from Cam's end here. Any double counting the cards?
Draws
And,
2.
wow, so it resolves.
Cam trying to wait and save his answers to the problem cards.
And 2 fresh new cards for Alex, and that should have ticked. There we go. Servant's now at 3, so Servant can now grab any of his... Pankratops as well. Wow. Servant can grab any of his Endymion cards, probably most specifically the Mighty Master of Magic. And it looks like he's going to use the effect. You remove the spell counters for cost.
And to note, he still hasn't committed to a normal summon.
He has not committed
yet.
to a normal summon. That is correct.
Cam really having to tank on what he wants to do here.
Yeah, because this is he's gonna let it go. All right, so Servant's gonna go ahead and special summon itself. He gets to special summon a monster that can take a spell counter from his deck. He's gonna grab Master, and now they each get 1 spell counter.
Now to note, Cam heavily considered playing the Endymion deck today, so he does know it. It's not as if this is a matchup where he doesn't know when and where to respond. He actually play tested it with it relatively heavily with the consideration of playing it today. So I think he's really just trying to hold off for the problem cards with what he's going to do.
So now what's so significant here too is that the Endymion has the counter on it because of Servant's effect. So now it is immune to targeting and destruction effects. And that could be very problematic for Salamangreat because it has a big body. Again, it can't be targeted and it can't be destroyed. So there's very few ways to deal with it.
And there's Electromite.
Yes, and he still hasn't committed to his normal summon, by the way.
I know.
So he still has that normal summon in his pocket if he needs it. Electromite going to use its effect to attempt to send a card to the extra deck.
And Cam's going to use a
there's the
Veiler.
Okay.
We've seen Veiler tearing Electromite up all day in terms of its effects, but those 2 open zones are still available.
I was going to say, he has not Pendulum summoned yet, but denying Electromite its abilities is pretty significant.
I think Alex is trying to save Pankratops for the battle phase to be able to use it to potentially take care of the Radiant's body.
Oh, absolutely,
as well.
because if you can get the
Oh,
Pendulum Call.
he commits to it finally.
Well, I mean, the thing is, and the Pendulum Call is resolving. If you can get that Pankratops to just hit over anything, I mean, you already just got a +1 off of it. So
then everything is bonus.
So it looks like he's grabbing a Harmonizing, and I can't tell what the second card is.
I think it's his the one that turns things to dragons.
Is it? Okay.
It looks like it.
It's either that or a Purple
corner.
Poison.
Yeah, one of the 2.
Yeah.
Purple Poison also would help. You can still activate its effect to boost without losing it to help you get over. And he's going to scale the Luster.
Yes, we knew he had the Luster.
But Pendulum Call is going to make his scale indestructible here.
He might just want it for the scale.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Because now he gets to get Time Gazer and Harmonizing. Now Harmonizing's going to trigger. He's going to get to special summon any of his magicians.
Now, still a note, Desires was a thing, so we don't know what resources could be missing for Alex, too.
That's true, but I think he's actually out of cards in his hand now. I think he's going solely with what he has on the board, but this board is starting to get pretty massive.
Yeah,
here.
it's all out there.
Yeah.
998 viewers.
Woo! Almost back up to 1,000.
Can we break the stream record, chat?
The stream record is only like 20 off of that, so. But I mean, I don't know. The board like this, I'm not surprised that there's that many people in here.
Oh yeah.
Because this is just an Ignister.
Ignister is coming out.
We've enjoyed seeing Ignister this weekend, that's for sure.
It is. It's just a blast from the past, and it is awesome.
1,044.
And that's a stream record, folks.
1,044.
Wow. Thank you guys for coming out to Pro Play Tour Fort Worth online and in person.
So we see Cam Neal finally using the Salamangreat Rage. He's forced to discard Falco, and he's only going to get one pop. So he is taking a minus to use this Rage here. But it is going to allow him to have a disruption.
And he's going to take care of the
Now,
Ignister.
the thing is, Alex is going to be able, if he wants to respond by using his Endymion to bounce back. Oh, actually, no, he doesn't have any cards with spell counters, I don't believe. So he's not actually able to negate right now. I believe Endymion has to bounce back a monster with spellcasters, or excuse me, spell counters, to be able to negate a spell or trap.
And it can't be himself?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, this card only has 7 effects, and it's week 1.
Chat's saying he can bounce himself.
Okay.
So, okay. And it looks like that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Okay, so he's going to negate the Rage, and Endymion's going to go back to his hand.
Luster's going to get popped for Ignister's effects resolution,
Yep.
I believe.
And he's going to shuffle away the other back row with Ignister's effect. So,
Oh my gosh. And like I was saying, that 2800 body Ignister, not as big of a problem anymore.
and Falco is going to use its effect, though, when it hit the graveyard, and it is going to reset, I believe, the Rage.
Yeah, so that's something to consider for Alex.
It won't know this turn. I mean, it won't activate
yes.
this turn because it was set. But he will have it for next turn,
Yeah,
potentially.
Pankratops has to consider his options a little more now.
Absolutely. Looks like Alex just checking Cam's graveyard there.
And to know, Cam's trying to fight back just to get to a game 3.
Right.
Now, Alex is fighting to get himself to the finals of this tournament.
Absolutely. So Alex is in the driver's seat right now. So even if he loses this, and not to mention, if he loses, he'll be going first.
Yes.
So that is such a significant advantage to be in at this point.
Yes, the scale currently is protected by Pendulum Call.
So right now, Alex is in a position where he could attack over everything. There is a Balinx in the grave, so that is to consider. But he could theoretically attack over all the monsters on the field.
Oh,
He's going to Link. Okay.
Link 4.
Link 4.
Is it going to be?
Or Link 3. Boral Sword. Okay. So he's going to go ahead and attack into Mirage Stalio. That'll be 600 damage. So now Boral Sword's going to go ahead and attack into Radiant. It's going to use its effect, so it's going to do 3,000.
And now
it absorbs the attack, so now Boral Sword is sitting on 49.
I believe so.
Oh, and he can just use Pankratops to pop and just attack for game.
Yes.
He could, yeah. Does he have Balinx and Grave?
Oh, he has Balinx to protect, though.
Oh.
That would have been so clutch if it weren't for the Balinx, but I think
So now Cam has the uphill battle of removing
Right.
the Boral Sword.
I think Alex just passed the turn.
Yeah, it is.
That
Cam
would have
draw.
that would have been so clutch. That Balinx really saving Cam here. And now he's got Rage. Getting rid of the Jack Jaguar.
Baby Rage in the chat.
And you have to force out the Pankratops here. Boral Sword is like a pseudo disruption because it can switch something to defense, but that's not that significant.
Yeah.
You could tell Alex forgot about Bailings.
Yeah. So Salamangreat Gazelle gonna send Roar. The thing is, though, even though that Alex is in this position, he's still up a game.
Yes.
So he's perfectly fine. He's up in life right now too, and Cam still has to, finish him off for this game too. So he's gonna Jack Jaguar back, summoning to the zone that Balinx is pointing to. He's gonna go for Sunlight Wolf.
Now to note, there is no Gaga Cowboy in Alex's extra deck.
Well,
that
that's
I'm aware.
okay. That's important to know. I mean, time could eventually get to
Yes.
being a factor.
Both these decks do take a while with their turns, and Alex definitely is invested in seeing, all right, how are you going to answer this? What are you going to do? But I'm pretty sure Cam's going to find a way here.
So Cam going to make the Mirage Stalio underneath the zone that Boral Sword is open. He's going to summon out Foxy, which is going to trigger Sunlight Wolf to add back the Gazelle. Cam does still have Sanctuary up. And looks like he could go possibly into I was just going to Reincarnation Link summon the Sunlight Wolf, it seems. Oh.
And we are going
to Game 3.
Game 3.
Yeah.
This is for the finals.
This is.
Only one duelist will be moving on.
I hope Cameron plays around the Kaiju this time and doesn't leave a Jack Jaguar and goes into Bailings after before he passes turn.
All right, final cuts are being drawn. Look at that handshake. Look at that
Texas
sportsmanship.
style.
And ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Game 3. Alex starting us off here, which is the position he wants to be in. And if he can set up his incredible board with Amorphages, oh, this is going to be bad. So Spell Power Mastery, the first card being played. It's going to add an Endymion card to his hand.
I think I saw 2 purple cards in Cam's hand.
Okay, I saw a Rage, for sure.
Yes.
He's going to go ahead and grab Servant.
I guess Alex has shown the greatest mastery over this Pendulum deck so far.
I mean, he's made it to the top 4, so Pot of
And there's
Desires. The Desires getting those resources in the game, too. That was pretty clutch. Will this bait any sort of disruption? And it looks like it's not, so...
It's also going to gain him a spell counter.
Correct. So that is going to put 1 on Servant. Alex considering his options.
Alex does have a lot of 1-ups in his deck, though, for playing Desires.
I mean, that is possibly one of the risks. Ooh, I don't know if you saw, like, he looked through his banish pile and his face looked upset. He looked visibly
He's
frustrated.
activating Foolish Burial if there's not a Dark Worm here.
That might not be the issue. He might have banished one of his key combo pieces for what he's trying to do.
There's Dark
so there's
Worm,
a Dark
okay.
Worm, but like maybe he banished like the Lechery or maybe Goliath,
Yeah.
possibly. And that's like one of the big problems with
Goliath
running
would be a huge
Yeah,
one
if
to
he
banish.
banished Goliath, that would be crippling for his turn 1 play. So we're gonna see Dark Worm come down.
A lot of people are saying reset the camera in chat.
Which camera?
Oh, life point reset. Oh, never mind.
Oh, sorry.
Cam, not camera.
All right, so
2 spell counters loaded. Dark Worm coming out here now.
I already got the areas.
And
here.
there is
Okay, so he
Lechery
has the
in
Lechery,
hand.
but Goliath, I would be visibly upset
Yes.
if Goliath got banished off Desires. All right, so Servant's going to trigger here. It's going to go ahead and special summon itself, and I would say a Master Endymion.
And looking through his cards twice.
Oh, he's got it. Okay. Oh,
Jackal.
Jackal King. Okay. This is a different route, but this will give him a monster negate, and this could be good because if he gets both of them get 1 spell counter, which means that there's 2 spell counters on the field, so that Jackal King could potentially negate. Actually, I'm not sure if they have to come from the same source or not. Oh, that puts it to 2 anyway, so that's fine. But now that he has the negate, he can potentially stop any hand traps.
And here we go into Electromite.
This is good. This gives him protection from Ogre, realistically anything.
Yeah, being able to play through hand traps now.
Yeah.
is a huge deal. Even if he's lost his Goliath, he can more so try to set up with a standard-ish Pendulum board instead.
So it looks like he's going to send... I actually cannot tell what that is. So he's going to go ahead and pop the Gate 0 with his Electromite. Adding back a copy of... Looks like he's fumbling around there. Adding back a Servant, and then he's going to get to draw a card off of the Electromite. Cam going to do a quick shuffle and cut of the deck there just before Alex takes his draw. So Servant coming back down again.
Definitely doesn't look like the route he wanted to start with, but he's going somewhere.
So he's going to Pendulum Summon 2 copies of Dark Worm
And
a
a
Harmonizing.
Harmonizing.
That's pretty good. Now, he does have the Dragon for his Guard Dragon component of his deck. However, like we said, we don't know if he banished the Goliath with his desires.
And he brings out a
Black Fang.
Black Fang.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Alex taking his time to think while he shuffles. So now the question is, if Goliath is banished, what do you do? What kind of board do you try to end
4
on?
disruptions, 5 negates, let's go!
Because you've got...
This board is ridiculous.
Because looking into his extra deck, I mean, he doesn't have a lot of options for disruption outside of... I mean, he's got Dawn Dragster, but he doesn't have a Destrudo
He has
anywhere.
Heretic's Field of Heavenly Spheres.
He has Spheres, yeah, so that could possibly be one disruption. If he can find a way to get to Destrudo, that could be a second disruption. He could just make Dweller. I mean, Dweller's pretty good.
Yeah.
It stops Spinny, it stops... I mean, it stops a lot of the cards, honestly.
And it looks like that might be where
That
he's
might
headed
just be his
right
line
now.
of play, yeah.
Yep.
All right, so there's Dweller. The fact that a majority of the Pendulum cards are level 4 makes that pretty easy.
And a Link summon for...
Link 3 or Link 4?
4, I want to say.
Saryuja.
So he can
Interesting.
resource his hand with that special summon to the field. And
Oh, he has the Goliath in his hand! Okay. So Dweller plus Goliath plus a set card and, not to
Cerberus
mention,
loaded.
Jackal King.
Jackal, my
Yes,
bad,
so
my
he
bad.
has a Monster Negate. Cameron Neal cannot special summon from the extra deck. Dweller is just going to deny anything.
Dark
Oh,
Worm in the
man.
graveyard for later if
Yes.
somehow this gets cleared.
Right. And he also has a set card. Could that be the one of Impermanence, maybe?
Alex needs to stop flexing.
Wow.
A board shutting down both spells and extra deck.
Oh, and you're right. And the
Yes.
spells are shut off, too, because of...
And the graveyard.
Okay, so there's a Pankratops.
That is one of the cards
If
you
there's
definitely
any
wanna
start
see.
to breaking this board, it's going to be Pankratops. However, the Jackal King will be able...
He can just beat a... Well, is Jackal King... Yeah, Jackal King was earlier. It's not boosted.
Sure.
And anyways, the Pankratops is boosted. Yeah, he's
So
just
he's going to
beat
attack over
it.
the Jackal King. So I believe that's Jackal King 24?
Yes.
Okay, so he's going to take 200 damage.
I believe the Pankratops is boosted by Saryuja.
Oh, it
too,
is.
though.
So it's an extra 3.
And
You're correct.
now he's somewhat free to decide what's going to matter to take care of.
So Lady Debug. That's going to go through.
I wonder what that back row
I'm
could
really
be.
curious what that is as well. Could be a... I mean, is it a bluff? Is it another Desires?
Oh.
I mean, Alex also displayed Call by the Grave.
True.
But he has a Dweller, so it's like... It doesn't really do too much. I guess if Cam decides to like try to get something back out
It
of the
could take care
graveyard.
of a Bailing
Sure,
or something
sure.
if he gets there. Now, do keep in mind, Lechery is going to have to make some decisions in the...
So he's going to use Pankratops to pop the Goliath. This is in main phase 2. Keep that in mind. He is going to double check Lechery.
There's going to be Bailings.
Yep, Phalanx is coming down here.
Don't forget Dragon Ball
Now that effect is going to get Salamangreat Sanctuary.
With 3 members. So 2 of your members must win their matches in order for you and the team to advance. Tackles are required for the event. The time is 11
But that
p.m.
Sanctuary can't do anything
Right
right
now.
now.
Finals.
So please make sure you make those registrations as soon as
And he's gonna wait. So he can't use that, can he?
He can because isn't.
There's no Morphage.
Yeah, there's no
the
Morphage
Morphage is
anymore.
gone now, and
Correct.
all the spells are opened up.
So now Salamangreat Circle is free to resolve. And I think Cameron Neal had at least 2 spells in his hand. So being able to turn that off, man, see, look at all the work Pankratops did. It shut off the monster negate. It popped the card, denying him from special summoning from the extra deck. And now
and turned his spells back on.
Yeah, it turned his spells back on at the same time. Crazy. So he's going to go ahead and bring out Gazelle.
I think he needs to find something to do about the Saryuja, though, because that's just a huge pendulum swing back the next
Absolutely,
turn.
yeah. That's something he does have to consider. But Cam does have a copy of Salamangreat Rage in his hand, as we saw.
Yeah.
So he could potentially just use that Rage on a Reincarnation. Ooh, going for Fusion of Fire. Okay. This is main phase 2, though, so that's something to consider. But he could use that Salamangreat Rage as like a Twin Twister of sorts to blow up the scale so that Alex won't be able to Pendulum Summon. He's going for a Link 2. He's going to go ahead and get Sunlight Wolf. He's going to play Sanctuary. Going to go ahead and Reincarnation Link summon that wolf into another copy.
And Alex is going to check something real quick.
He's going to double check the text on Salamangreat's Circle. Potentially checking it for its protection effect.
We got 4 minutes, so they gotta hurry.
I was going to say, yeah, time is actually possibly becoming a factor here with 4 minutes left. Cam added Fusion of Fire. Oh, he's going to go for it. Okay.
Wow.
So he's going to use Saryuja as material as
That's
well
how
as...
he's gonna deal with it.
That's how he's going to deal with that. And here comes Violet Chimera. It is going to trigger the Sunlight Wolf since it was summoned to that zone. So he's going to grab back a copy of Gazelle. So now he's got his combo for next turn. But he still does have to deal with that Dweller. So maybe he'll actually, if he can survive this turn, and if time doesn't become a factor, he might have to use Rage to pop the Dweller, actually.
And there's extra spell counters added back, though, to Servant.
Yes. So Servant is back at 3 counters.
Sets 2.
Sets 2.
Timely play by our duels here in Top Cut. Now it's up to Alex to focus and get in there. Gonna go ahead and activate the Dweller perhaps before the cost of the Amorphage.
He's considering it.
That way the Balinks at least would be turned off.
It would be turned off, yes.
And there it is.
Yep, so he's
and
gonna
he
pay
is
that.
going to go ahead and tribute the Abyss Dweller.
So that's the maintenance cost for the lechery.
Don't
correct?
tell me this is going to be a Flip Desires. He is oh.
If you're in the position where you have to, do you just go for it?
Yeah. Well, do keep in mind he has an extra zone opened up thanks to the Sunlight Wolf.
That's
so
true.
His Pendulum Summon from extra deck can be at least 2 monsters right now.
Now the thing is, he does have. Oh, he's doing a Dark Worm first.
Yes. Okay. So Cam did actually manage to take care of everything, but there it is.
You did mention it earlier that Dark Worm could be relevant.
And there's Harmonizing Magician Pendulum Summon.
Okay.
That is huge.
I was gonna say, if Alex Pendulum summons before doing anything else, Rage will not matter.
You're saying that Dweller doesn't stop Balinks? Because it's an unspecified effect, it doesn't activate?
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
I didn't know that.
just for whatever effect, it might matter. Because like if let's say Cam sends like a Falco or something to trigger it.
Yeah, I think it only stops like.
Do
like
duelists in
spinning.
the room have a way to know what time is?
Yeah, they have
They have their own
time.
clock?
Yeah, they have
Okay.
their own clock, yeah.
And that's the thing. Oh, we see Rage coming down. Okay. Targeting the Salamangreat Sunlight Wolf, so he's going to get 2 pops with the Rage here. He's going to target Servant, and he's going to target Harmonizing.
That still leaves him with options, but it does cut them down by quite a few.
It does.
Losing your tuner, he really probably wanted to see Ignis.
Cam still has 1 card set. We don't know what that in his hand, I believe Cam just has the Gazelle that he added back with the Sunlight Wolf. So the only possible form of disruption right now from Cam is the set card, and I'm not sure if we know what it is.
Really searching his options, but only 50 seconds left. He is... Ooh.
He knows time's running out. Can he find a way to just get the life points? Because he's only down 500.
There's a...
Hieratic Sphere.
That's huge. That is how you want to deal with some things.
Sloth. Okay.
Is there anything left for the Hieratic Sphere's other effect?
I'm not sure, possibly.
Call by
the Grave. Attacking with Sloth into the... So that's 500.
I'm gonna go over there and keep an eye on what's going on with time.
So that puts both players tied currently. Salamangreat's Circle. Cam cannot use that Circle because the Lechery is still active on the field. And that's going to be it.
That's 2250.
Oh, it's 2250, so it's not enough. It was 50 off. Oh my god, that is tragic. So Cameron Neal is going to make it to the finals, but what a well-played match. I mean, that might be one of the best matches that we've seen throughout the entire tournament.